My name is Amina Rahmani. I'm 14 years old, born and raised in the state of Georgia in a Middle Eastern Muslim family. My family isn't extreme. We live simply, follow our beliefs, and try to be kind. I am the oldest daughter. I love to draw. I'm fascinated by biology, and sometimes I feel like I'm living between two worlds. I'm not a perfect person. Sometimes I pray all my prayers. Sometimes I don't. There are days I believe in Allah with all my heart, and there are nights I stare at the ceiling and silently ask, God, are you really listening? September 23rd, 2024 started like any other day. I woke up tired, my lips were dry, my body felt heavy, but I didn't tell my mom. I didn't want to miss school because I had a big test. I threw my insulin pen in my backpack, telling myself I'd be fine. But I wasn't fine. That afternoon when I got home from school, I felt like I was falling into a deep well. Everything around me started to blur. I stumbled into my room, lay down on my bed, and then everything went black. I didn't know it then, but my heart had stopped beating for nearly 12 minutes. But I didn't disappear. I didn't float into a void. I stepped into something else entirely. Something so vivid, so real, that I still can't fully comprehend it. And it was there, that I met the one I never thought I would meet. That was the moment that all my beliefs, my doubts, and the silent questions in my heart were turned upside down. What I'm about to tell you isn't to convince you or to start an argument. I'm sharing this because I can no longer stay silent. Now that I've seen the truth, I don't know exactly when I left my body, but suddenly I found myself floating above my room, watching my mother cry out my name, seeing my father frantically performing CPR. I wanted to scream, "I'm okay, Mom," but no sound came out. Then I heard it, a strange sound, like the most beautiful music, not from a piano or a flute, but as if every molecule in the air was humming. A wave of light flooded the room. It wasn't blinding or scary. It felt like an embrace, gentle, warm understanding. I felt myself being pulled toward it, not with my feet, but with my very soul, and then I was no longer in my bedroom. I was standing in the middle of a magnificent garden, a place that felt like it was created before time itself. Everything was alive in a way that was hard to believe. Colors radiated from within, and the air itself felt full of life. The flowers, they were singing, not with words, but with light, with love. I stood there in silence, and then he appeared, a man. He looked nothing like any religious painting I'd ever seen. He was tall, powerful, but not frightening, and indescribable. Light emanated from him as if he was the source of light, not just reflecting it. But it was his eyes that I couldn't look away from. Those eyes, they held all the sorrow and all the love in the world. He looked at me and I knew he saw everything about me. All my sins, my hurts, my doubts, my anger, he saw it all. And he still loved me. He smiled. "Amina," he said in Arabic. His voice didn't enter my ears. It resonated directly in my soul. My beloved daughter. I burst into tears. Not from fear, not from sadness, but because for the first time in my life, my soul felt at rest. I stammered, Who are you? Are you real?" He held out his hand. When I touched it, a current of energy flowed through me, stronger than anything I had ever known, stronger than my mother's embrace, stronger than any happy moment. It was pure love, unconditional, limitless. "Am I dead?" I asked, trembling. He nodded, but said gently, "Your body is sleeping, but right now you are more alive than you have ever been." We began to walk through the garden filled with light. Every step felt like walking on the breath of life itself. I saw other people in the distance. They were smiling, their eyes filled with peace, as if there was nothing left to fear. I turned to him, asking quietly, "Why am I here?" "I'm just a Muslim kid. I'm not worthy." He stopped and then knelt down. So we were at eye level. He looked at me and said, "You were not chosen for your religion or your age. Children often see clearly what adults have missed. You have a pure heart. and I have something important to show you." Before I could ask anything, the garden began to change. The light remained, but the scenery blurred, transforming into a panoramic view, as if we were standing on a hill, looking down on the entire world below. I saw cities, New York, Tehran, Tokyo, like a living map spread out before me. He spoke, his voice low but firm. "What you are about to see is coming very soon. I'm showing you this, because you need to tell others when you return." I turned to him in a panic. "Return? But I don't want to leave you." He placed a hand on my shoulder, his eyes filled with love. "I know, my precious child, but your time has not yet come. Your family needs you, and I have a mission for you." I squeezed his hand. Deep down, I knew everything was about to change forever after what I was about to see. Jesus held out his hand, and the scene shifted. The garden faded, and I found myself standing on a holy mountaintop. Below me was the entire world, like a living map, every nation, every city moving like a giant film. He didn't preach. He simply said, "Look, Amina, what you are about to see is coming very soon." The vision of America in chaos. I saw America. Streets were cracking, crowds were enraged, protests, conflict, flags being burned. Families were screaming at each other inside their homes. Brothers turning on brothers, husbands and wives divorcing, adults weeping because they had lost faith in their government and in each other on the TV screens, fake news, divisive commentary, leaders arguing like children while the people lived in fear and suspicion. It felt like everyone was shouting, but no one was listening. Jesus stood beside me, his voice filled with sorrow. The enemy does not only sow destruction with bombs, but with words, with division. They sow doubt to extinguish love. I felt a lump in my throat. I realized this wasn't a war on the outside. It was a war for every person's soul. The great deception next, I saw a man appear on a massive stage. He was cheered by millions. He spoke of God, of family, of truth. His voice was powerful, his eyes confident, and everyone believed he was a righteous man. I looked at Jesus, and he gently shook his head. Then the scene shifted. I saw behind the curtain where this man was signing secret deals, trading favors for power, manipulating the media, shaking hands with wicked men. I saw him using the holy name like a cloak, speaking pious words, but his heart was rotten. Jesus turned to me, and his own voice was strained. "He wears my name like a robe, but his heart is far from me. And many of my own people are following him, thinking they are following me." I shivered. I understood this wasn't just one man, but a symbol for the final deception, a deception cloaked in the appearance of faith. He said, "The deception will spread across the earth." I saw many people who were blind, not physically, but spiritually. They were mesmerized by signs and wonders, false prophecies, charismatic emotions, but they never checked these things against the true word. I saw demons disguised as angels of light, whispering half-truths into people's ears. If he speaks in God's name, it must be right. If he opposes evil, he must be one of God's people. Jesus said, "The deceiver does not come with outright lies, but with truth that has been twisted. Anyone not anchored in my word will be swept away." The unmasking, I saw an invisible hand pull the mask from that leader's face. All his hidden deeds were exposed to the light. Documents, conspiracies, secret recordings. The crowds went silent. Many began to weep. Many screamed in anger. Some walked out of their churches. Some turned their backs on God entirely. I turned to Jesus. "Why are you showing me this?" He looked at me, his eyes sad but steady. "Before you turn 16, the mask will fall. Many will fall away in their faith, not just because they believed in him, but because they never truly put their trust in me." I clutched his hand. I felt tears on my own cheeks, but then I saw another group of people. Not many, but the light within them was powerful. They were the ones who had been praying in secret, seeking the truth, not blindly trusting anyone, not even those who represented God. Jesus pointed to them and said, They will not be surprised. Because they listened to my voice, I have been preparing their hearts. In the midst of the darkness, they will hold their lamps high. I looked back at the world below, my heart heavy. There was both despair and hope interwoven. So, what am I supposed to do? I asked. He placed his hand on my chest. Tell them what you have seen. Do not let your youth keep you silent. The enemy fears the light that comes from humble truth. You plant the seed. I will make it grow. The scene began to dissolve. But those visions I knew would never leave me. After the mask was torn away, I saw the world fall into a spiritual chaos. Some were angry, others were lost. But in the middle of that picture, something strange began to happen. The vision of praying communities, I saw small groups of people gathering. They came from many faiths, Muslim, Christian, Jewish, even some, who had never believed in anything. No one was arguing about who was right. No one was debating doctrine. They were on their knees, weeping and crying out to God, each in their own way, but with a profound sincerity, as if their souls had moved beyond religious boundaries. And then I saw the light. As they prayed, something invisible but powerful ignited, pushing back the darkness that clung to their cities. Jesus said, when prayer comes from a true heart, nothing can stop my power. The devil fears unity, especially when it comes from love. Forgiveness and love pushed back the darkness. I saw two former enemies, an Israeli soldier and a Palestinian boy, begin to pray together. A white pastor embraced a Muslim man who had once hated his faith. A homeless child whispered, Creator, if you are real, please hear me. Every sincere prayer, however weak, however clumsy, however imperfect, created a small corona of light. Jesus whispered, it is not everyone who cries, Lord, Lord, who belongs to me, but it is anyone who truly seeks me with a soft heart, ready to love. I saw dark entities, like human-shaped shadows, whispering into the ears of leaders, artists, even into churches. But when one person prayed in faith, the light shot out like a lightning bolt and made the demons flee. Jesus showed me, the real war is not in politics. It is in the spirit. Without prayer, this earth is just prey for the enemy. I asked, so what can I do? I'm just a girl. And I was a Muslim. I don't know much about the Bible. He smiled, not in mockery, but with such tenderness. I did not choose you because you know a lot. I chose you because you know how to listen. Pray. From your heart, not from a formula. Love others, and the truth will find its own way. I saw a small fire being lit, the first prayer. Then that fire touched another person by person, small group by small group, city by city. A map of light began to ignite, pushing back the darkness. Jesus spoke his final words in this. Vision, do not wait for something big. Start with the smallest prayer with real love. I will do the rest. The light faded. I saw myself again, small, with so much still to learn. But for the first time, I wasn't afraid. Because I knew no prayer is ever wasted if it comes from a true heart. I can't forget the feeling as the light began to fade. I knew I had to go back. Jesus held me in an embrace one last time and said, remember what I have shown you? The exposure is coming, and when it does, point them to me and not to anyone else. And then I fell back into my body. I opened my eyes to the sound of my mother's choked sobs. My father was on the phone with 911. My little brother was huddled in the corner of the room, his face soaked with tears. I had been dead for 12 minutes, but I came back with no damage, no complications, and most miraculously, my blood sugar was perfectly stable. After that, I no longer prayed like it was a habit. I spoke with him as if he were truly listening. I no longer believed every sermon just because it sounded right. I could feel what was true and what was false. Even when it was cloaked in Christian language. My family changed. My friends. Some laughed, some listened in silence, and I understood. Not everyone was ready to receive what I had seen. I am not. SPECIAL, I am just a 14-year-old girl, living in a Muslim family in America who used to be scared, used to be doubtful. and who died for 12 minutes. But in those 12 minutes, I met the one I never thought I would call Lord. And he showed me the truth, not just for me, but for all of us. But this is what you need to know. Jesus is real. Heaven is real. And the deception is also real. One day, very soon, a leader that many admire will be exposed. The mask will fall. And if your faith is in a human being, it will crumble. But if your faith is in Jesus, the one who never changes, you will stand firm. To you, the person. Reading these words, I was a Muslim girl who thought she knew who she believed in, but then I died, and in that death, I met life. This message is not mine to keep. It's for all of us. If you're watching this, he's calling you too. Don't wait until it's too late. Don't wait until everything falls apart to ask, should I have woken up sooner? Ask yourself, if you died tonight, are you ready to meet him? From that moment on, I no longer lived for myself. I lived to say this: the masks are falling, the truth is coming, and Jesus, not any earthly leader, is the only safe place. He loved me even when I had never known him, and I believe he is loving you right now. Tell them I am coming soon. I heard that from his own lips, and now I am telling you. Are you ready?